Okay, you can start. Recording in progress. All right. Good evening, everybody. My name is Lukman, and I'll be moderating today. And I have beautiful Mariam joining me as our reviewer. We are going to be reviewing chapter 4 of The Outliers. Outliers, actually, not The Outliers. Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. Personally, I've been enjoying this book, right? And it's fast. Reading it seems fast for me. I don't know. It's just like flip, 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 flip. Maybe because of how he's writing or how the story comes about. But I've been enjoying it so far, and I hope that everybody has to. I mean, for like few episodes now, I know that people have been enjoying it. So that we do not waste so much time and we allow Mariam to give us all that she has summed up for us, I would be handing over the mic to Mariam, the beautiful microphone. You take. Mariam, so I think you can have the floor and run us through this chapter, The Trouble with Geniuses, part 2. So,
Yeah,
Mariam, are you
thank
there?
you, Lukman.
All right.
Hello, can you hear me?
You loud and clear, I can.
Okay, thank you, Lukman. And yes, the book has actually been interesting. Although I joined in the middle way, like last week, but then yes, it has been going on well. So this chapter is the part 2 of The Trouble with the Genius, and it spoke about Chris Langan's story, which was quite interesting and very insightful because the lesson learned there is actually what practically happens here within our environment and the likes. So, talking about Chris Langan, when you talk about the family, the way he grew up, the background, and the likes, it talks about how sometimes we have limited opportunity because of the way or the environment we all grew up in. As for Christopher, he grew up in a poor background, like very, very wretched, and he's not rich, nor does he have a lot of opportunity in his hand, and he blew the two opportunity he had. And comparing his life with Oppenheimer, Oppenheimer, Robert, who was also a genius like Chris Langard, but he almost blew up his opportunity too because he got a probation and also had to be sent to psychiatric for trying or attempting to poison his professor while he was in university. But the difference was just that the Oppenheimer had opportunity to redo or to rewrite the story because of his background, and he has the social skills to always get whatever he wants. Unlike Christopher Langard, who does not have that social skills or practical intelligence to maneuver his way around things that he actually needs to. Like when he was speaking to the lecturer in Montana State University to change his classes from the morning class to the afternoon class is a thing that he could have just switched his way to, like talk his way through it, but he flopped it. While in the University of Red College too, the scholarship was taken away from him because the mother forgot to sign financial statements, something he could have just follow up on. But when we talk about working class and poor people, like uh, Lero are actually said in a classification of background and upbringing from our own social studies with people's background. If you can see the working class and poor people, they are taught how to be um like they don't really have that sense of entitlement in them to get what they want, while the middle class, which is the class the Robert fall into, that he could actually talk his way to get a scientific director of um Montana project, even though he does not even have any practical skills. Yeah, he just have the theoretical skills, but he could even win Grove's art. Like he could actually get into the project, even though he does not have the practical knowledge, but he has the theoretical knowledge. Christopher Langard, if he has the opportunity to speak for himself for the where while he was being rejected at Red College, to be given another opportunity or to speak back or to add even talk to his parents to please sign this for him. It is very important, and the likes. Maybe he would have become a professor also, or would have impact in life, not to end up to later live in a farmhouse with his wife and burying himself in books which might likely not see the light of the day because it might not be published out. And talking about middle class children, as you can see, even within our environment now, you can see some kids are very smart from childhood, and they have parents to encourage them to speak up, to talk back when it is necessary, to take opportunity when it comes to them. Why some children grow up in a background where you don't talk back to adults, you don't do this, don't do that. You even have the fear to even talk when you're opportune to or when you're supposed to. And I really like the part of the entitlement part because it really speaks to what's growing up like in an African home. It really speaks to it a lot, and you would not want to repeat that kind of thing with your child. So this book has actually been this particular part, the part two, has actually been interesting, and I think everybody should practice the middle class level, so to speak. Even though you are in a working class level, you can actually, how will I put it? You can actually train your children to always have this sense of entitlement in a good way, to always speak when there's opportunity. Because I believe if Chris Overlanger had the opportunity to speak for himself, he won't end up to be a genius without any Nobel Prize or any book to be published with all the genius brain he has. So it also speaks to the it's not being a genius is never enough. You have to have the opportunity to present yourself and to catch the opportunity when it comes. So in life, success is just like being a genius is just like 40% assurance of success. The remaining 60 is up to you. When the opportunity comes, the discipline, the awareness of this is the right time and this is not the right time to do whatever it is. Robert can actually rewrite a story because he took the opportunity when it comes. His family background is very okay. He's the middle class kind of person. So even if he was deviating, his parents could actually rewrite the story for him. He has people around him, even himself had imbibed the culture of getting it right when he has to serve his way whenever he needs to. But Christopher couldn't get it right because he does not have that culture in him. The background won't allow him, the environment won't allow him so much setback and the likes. And even himself, he knows he does not have the social intelligence to interact or to get himself what he wants, but he wouldn't even try to learn how to. Talking about the calculus teacher when they met, he would have just actually show or showcase his talent as at that time. Maybe the calculus teacher would have just picked an interest and guide him through, but he blew the opportunity again to show his talent and the likes. So I don't know. This is what's I don't know the review. That's the review I have. I'm talking about the grouping of the term man of the group A, group B, and group C. So you find out that people that their parents are not well to do, they are dropouts, they tend not to really end up well because whatever you do, you still need someone to teach you the know-how, how to navigate some difficult parts of life or some difficult decisions that you might be lost to know how to decide by yourself. Like you need someone to hold your hand whenever it is dark, and which the group C people do not really have that because even their parents are dropped out. These Chris Langer's siblings could see through the fact that their brother is a genius, and they kept on saying he would have do better if he had a very good background, but neither could they even help the guy to do better in whatever they do. Imagine getting the car spoiled when they know that the brother actually need the car to go to the school, and him too, because of the car, he couldn't go. And the way the authority has just always work against him. And he has the mindset of the authority is not even with him in any way. So when you're already with a negative mind, it's very difficult to get the positive outcome of whatever you do because your mindset is everything. It's just like going to meet someone for help, but you already have it in mind that that person might likely not help you. The way you present the whole situation to the person would even seem like you are not making an effort. Going to how the advisor made reference to the Red College results that he had help all through, and he had to drop out, and he's still coming here making that same mistake and all of that. He could have just take charge of the conversation to explain it wasn't like that and all of that, and persist or to be assertive about him needing his help and all of that. But he just gave up and left like that, even though he went to higher authority and they gave him the same response, something that they would just do out of norms to every other student. But it was sometimes it might be fate too, but then is how much you present yourself. As it is said, it is not just to be a genius that makes you a successful person. You need the practical intelligence, knowing what to say, knowing what to do at the right time, knowing when the opportunity presents itself and you are ready to get it, just like Robert did. Robert had issues too, just like Chris Linger, but that does not end his story. He went on to become a better person that people would even write his biography. So if Chris Langer had the social skills to the intelligence, the entitlement to always be ready to take the opportunity to able to talk his way through to get what he wants, I think he would have ended up rewriting his own story to be a better person or to be a publisher that would actually make use of his genius brain to impact society and life itself. So I don't know. I would like to stop here for any other person that would like to review or to say one or two things about the chapter two. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mariam. Thank you very much for that review. It's lovely how you put it, and I'm sure that the rest of everybody listening on this call has a thing or two, speak a thing or two from me, and I'm sure that the reading through the chapters, you guys must have had. You have your own contributions, you have your own approach, you have your own insights, and you probably have a different way that this chapter has spoken to you. So you know how we do it. If you have anything to share, you raise your hand, we'll call upon you, and you unmute your mic and share, give us your 2 cents. So while I'm waiting for anybody to signify and give us their 2 cents, I'm just going to give you like a rundown of how I understand this book. Like, let's just call it like and how far so far, right? I feel like this chapter, the trouble with geniuses, right? Understanding, I'm going to just link it back to like opportunity and 10,000 hours and probably the trouble with geniuses part one, such that I would say being a genius is, how they say success is an opportunity meets preparation. But in this case, being a genius, opportunity meets minimum of 10,000 hours, right? And obviously a solid IQ. So I feel like all these three things are the things that teleport you into being a genius or propel you into being a genius, right? Imagine Christopher Langer now. He had very minimal opportunity, right? He struggled, he fought, he almost gave up at some point, but like, I mean, he still made it across, and people are talking about him. But he had very few opportunities to make his life easier. Unlike Bill Gates, he had resources, he had opportunities, and he had time to practice minimum of 10,000 hours, and people, mentors, and all of that. So he had the community. Like he had the Rossetto, this is going back to community, the Rossetto mystery. He had the community to propel him into being who he is today, right? Christopher Langan did not have that much luck. He really didn't have all of those things to propel his success. He had to struggle a ton more than these other guys that we've looked at so far. So I think that I would just say that being a success boils down to, how the opportunities that you have, how you make use of them, how the opportunities that you didn't have, how it affects you. Those are among the things that affect your success. The 10,000 hours that Malcolm also emphasized on, you have to have been able to, whatever it is that you're interested in, or whatever it is that you're going to find yourself doing, that's going to make you stand out, going to make you a genius, or going to give you a mile over your colleagues or your mates that are doing the same thing. That's why I practice the minimum of 10,000 hours to be able to get there, right? That is hard work. That's serious hard work. Let's not even lie. For anybody, right? Then we're also looking at your community, the resettle mystery. I talked about the Italians that migrated and all of that, and how the community affects their life as a whole. Then also we'll look at your IQ, your intellect as a person, and all of that. So this book is interesting. I'm interested in seeing it to the end and seeing how it all played out. But how far so far, I love how every chapter is in sync and is entwined to make the next chapter more appealing, or you see a better picture. Like you're opening through doors and you just keep seeing it's better and better and better and better. So I'll just open the floor is still open to anybody that wants to give us a contribution, or okay, Toib has up his hand. Yay. So yeah, so let's have Toib share his 2 cents for us. We'll start at 10 minutes on the clock. Toib, you have the mic.
Okay. Thank you very much, Miriam, for that wonderful review. And
I cannot hear you clearly. I don't know if it's just me.
Okay, what about now?
Yeah, I think that's better. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Miriam, for that wonderful review. I like your conclusion aspect. What I just want to add is what Gladwell say at the end of that particular chapter. He said, Gladwell said, conclude that success is not just about innate ability, but also the advantage provided by one's environment and upbringing. So from all the story of Chris Langer's story, we've seen there are a lot of differences between rich family and the poorer family, the skills, the mindset they pour into their children, and how they affect their life positively. So I want to implore us as well that we should always check our environment. We should know who to associate with, because it affects our derivative in life. Thank you very much, Miriam, and Lukman, over to you.
Thank you very much for that, Toyib. I think what you said also agrees with everything that Malcolm has said, community and your circle generally. So thank you very much, Toyib. Any other person that is interested in sharing his 2 cents, the floor is yours. Please take the mic and tell us how you've enjoyed this chapter, or what lessons that you've gotten from this chapter so far. Okay, so while we are waiting on that, okay, let me see if I can still be sharing my own 2 cents. So they also compared Christopher Langan with. So if you look at the comparison between Christopher Langan and Oppenheimer, there's a movie on that guy. I should go and see it. So if you look at the comparison between Christopher Langan and Oppenheimer, you realize that they come from 2 different lines or lineage, or 2 different community, as you put it. Benedict said something in the comment section. He said in Nigeria, where the middle class is economically non-existent, we have to be more intentional about continuous enabling education at home. In Nigeria, there is the rich and there is the poor, right? You are very correct when you say the middle class almost non-existent. So Christopher Lagan was clearly if there was anything less than the middle class, according to the way he described him in the beginning of that chapter, he was Tata. He said he don't have like the same socks, right? So he was in the least of the least, right? And Oppenheimer was well-to-do. It was better. It was obviously better than him. And their approach to life were totally different. It was more or less like he was already losing hope in doing things. He was just because of the kind of personality that he had. That's why it was a little easier for him to go through life and make some decisions and keep fighting. right? But Oppenheimer, on the other hand, he took a more bold approach to things, and he had the temerity to to do things differently, to approach things differently, to talk differently, and to be able to find his way through people, right? And that still boils down to your community, where you are from, the opportunities that you have, your exposure, and all of that. So I think that those are that's how life operates, and those are the things that determine how you are going. Those are the things that would mostly determine the things how your life is going to play out. Except you're like Christopher, that you take extra charge, and you just have to find a way where there is no way and make it work. So I think that I've also exhausted my own 2 cents for now. If anybody still have anything to say, the floor is yours. And if not, I'll just enable you. I'll just advise you guys, or employ you guys to stay consistent, keep reading the book, enjoy the knowledge that comes from it. Also, let's try to incorporate these things in our daily lives, and and our lifestyles, and invite other people to come and enjoy this beautiful review that we do here. It's a good one. I like it, and I'm sure that I believe that, Mariam, thank you, and I believe that the reading culture is coming back. One of the major things we're looking at is reviving the reading culture. For me, it's working, right? And I can see at least 15 to have 26 people today. That means it's working. Even if you touch one life every day, is worth something. So you guys should keep it up, and keep working on it. Thank you. Mariam, you can unmute your mic. I was about to wrap up. Mariam,
Yeah,
just
just to add to your reading culture, is actually helpful, because God knows when the last time I opened my book to read something, but the group has actually helped to, like, give someone the discipline to always try to read, and I'm glad to be in the group. And of course, I've been telling my friends and colleagues to actually join the group also, to just bring out the culture of reading through books, because trust me, this chapter actually got my heart, because the things that I read about this, and it just bring me back to society and the way we are. And God knows, if I started this thing earlier, maybe there's some decisions I've made that would have been other way around, because the books enlighten you to some things, to know how and what to do at some particular points in your life, which maybe parents or friends might not open your eyes to see that. So I just want to quickly add that to your comments. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm happy. This is your addition again. That's giving me joy. I'm excited. Thank you very much for that, Mariam. And I hope that you stay consistent, and don't worry, you can just remain here with us. You see that your reading culture will help you to bring it back. We'll revive it for you. That's what we do. That's what we are here for. And that's how and that's all we want to do, right? And more, obviously. Taib said, Gladwell says, practical intelligence, as defined by psychologist Robert Sternberg, involves knowing what to say, when to say it, and how to say it for maximum effect. It's a procedure that helps individuals read situations correctly and get what they want. This thing here exactly is what Oppenheimer had, and Christopher didn't have, right? He probably didn't, aside from, let's say, the people that he was approaching were not nice. He probably didn't say it right, didn't know when to say it, or he did not know how to say it to get the maximum effect that he wanted. And probably that's why, let's not say that's the only reason. Maybe probably that's why he didn't get back his scholarship. He didn't shift his class the way to favor him, and a lot of other things that didn't work out for him. So thank you all very much. This is 7:58. Do well to like our post, engage on social media. If you read the chapter and you like it, go to Twitter, drop your 2 cents, tag us, repost, or quote our tweets, and drop your own post. Let the community stay alive, and let us keep trying to revive the reading culture together. Thank you very much for coming to Kaizen Reading Group. Keep reading and keep growing. Thank you. Good night.